If you're a longtime listener, you know that I believe that we need to run our finances in a way that allows us to run the business rather than running our finances for taxes. However, taxes aren't going away. So we also have to be thinking, what changes do we need to shift as we look at the back half of the year so that we can maximize our tax strategies? If you do not have a CPA who offers these mid-year check-ins, I would strongly suggest that you find a new money team. There is always an opportunity to pivot and change. We do mid-year check-ins for every single one of our clients, where we are looking at the tax strategies that we thought should be implemented when the tax return was completed. And then we decide what needs to actually be implemented to create success in the back half of the year. Welcome back to Entrepreneur Money Stories. Today, we're going to be talking about the specific steps you need to take in order to conduct a quarterly financial review for your business. It is so important that we start to transition ourselves from not just being a practitioner, right? I know that each and every one of you are amazing at your craft. You are so good at what you do. And this business side, the finance side, it is tough. But you are not alone. I have taken all of the steps that I used during my corporate days and modified and adjusted them so that they work perfectly for women business owners. We are going to walk step by step on the process that we have used with thousands of clients at Kickstart Accounting Inc. for years. So I know this process works. This is going to leave you feeling empowered and confident to really close out this year strong and understand the steps that you need to be taking to minimize your tax liability and make the best business decisions for your business. All right, join me for this step-by-step process to conduct a mid-year check-in. Welcome back to Entrepreneur Money Stories. Today, we're going to have a really serious talk. This episode is filled with action and very clear steps for you to take in order for you to perform a proper mid-year Q3 check-in on your business finances. Now, these are the tools and strategies that I used to use with my management team in my corporate career, the process that we have used to walk through with thousands of other business owners throughout the years here at Kickstart Accounting Inc. So you are going to learn our proprietary strategic process of how we do a mid-year check-in. Now, first of all, why the heck are we even doing this, right? So we have to understand the why. That is one of our core values here at Kickstart Accounting, is to lead with why. And I want to do that here for you on the show as well. So why are we doing a mid-year check-in? There are several benefits to this. First and foremost, I want to go back to our intentions that we set at the beginning of the year. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and listen to episode 79, where we talked about setting an intention for the year rather than goals. So why do I keep on talking about intentions? Around here, we get really laser focused because we know what an impact being laser focused can have on a business and a business owner. There is this really beautiful movie, For the Love of the Game. And throughout the movie, he has something that he calls a clearing mechanism. And in the movie, they do a really amazing job of all of the effects to demonstrate how he is getting hyper focused during the game, right? Everything else is blurred out and he is hyper focused and he ends up throwing a perfect game. Sorry if you haven't seen the movie, I gave it away, but it's an old one. But the point is that he is able to have this mechanism in his brain where he is actually clearing and getting laser focused, right? Hyper focused. And when he does that, he ends up throwing the perfect game. He ends up hitting his specific goal. And so I want you to be able to do the same thing. right? So we're going to get hyper focused. We're going to clear out all the noise and focus on our intention for this year. So step one, we're going back to episode 79, our intentions, and think back to what our goal was for this year. What was our intention for the year? So that is why we are doing this exercise as a mid-year checkpoint. Is that still the intention, right? It doesn't have to be the intention still. We can say that's actually no longer fitting for my personal life. That's actually no longer fitting for my business. And I need to change, right? I have to shift gears for the second half of the year. So we have to have this mid-year checkpoint in order to determine whether or not we are going to stay on the original course or if we need to create a new map for the second half of the year. Back in my corporate days, we used to call this the reforecast at quarter three. So we would look at the performance of the business for the first 2 quarters and look at what's worked and what has not been working and decide what the back half of the year is going to look like. It doesn't mean that we always threw out the original budget. It just means that we re-cleared our intentions to understand what is important now. This will be really important for a business owner who is doing better than they projected or better than they expected, right? So maybe your business has grown faster than you originally intended. So your revenue is higher, which means we need to think about hiring more team members or adjusting our advertising and marketing spend, right? We have a change in what we originally thought, right? Our original intention for the year. And so we have to, as business owners, react, right? We can't dig our heels in the sand and say, well, that's not how I planned for this to go. I'm only spending this amount of money because that's what I planned. Successful business owners are willing to pivot, right? The word pivot became really popular during COVID, but I'm glad it did because business owners can gain insight and learn a valuable lesson from that. And that we have to always be pivoting. We don't have to wait for a global pandemic to pivot in our business. Now, the other situation might be true. We might not be doing as well as we thought. And so we can't continue to spend just because we hired somebody or just because we agreed to do an advertising campaign. We have to decide if it's not working, how we're going to shift gears and close out the last part of the year really strong. And then the last piece of this is taxes. If you're a longtime listener, you know that I believe that we need to run our finances in a way that allows us to run the business rather than running our finances for taxes. However, taxes aren't going away. So we also have to be thinking, what changes do we need to shift as we look at the back half of the year so that we can maximize our tax strategies. If you do not have a CPA who offers these mid-year check-ins, I would strongly suggest that you find a new money team, right? There is always an opportunity to pivot and change. So here at Kickstart Accounting Inc., we partner with KSATP. And here at KSATP, we do mid-year check-ins for every single one of our clients, where we are looking at the tax strategies that we thought should be implemented when the tax return was completed. And then we decide what needs to actually be implemented to create success in the back half of the year. All right. So hopefully we have a clear understanding of why we are doing this, but I promise you, we are not going to stop there. I want to walk you through how we actually complete this analysis. So in order to get started, I need you things in place. You're not going to actually do this today. You are going to find a time on your calendar in which you are able to block off several hours and have dedicated time to this opportunity to work on your business rather than in your business. So this is a really important tool and strategy, and I want you to treat it as such. So we are blocking off the calendar. You're going to find some quiet space. Maybe if you generally work from home, you think about getting a co-working space for the day, or if you generally work at a co-working space, maybe you work from home. But I want you to have a quiet space that is interruption free. I don't want to forget that these cell phones that we carry around like glue, they're glued to our hips, our heads, we need to turn off all of those notifications during this time that your calendar is blocked off. This time should be interruption free. There should be no notifications. I don't want to hear your email dinging, your Instagram notifications going off, your Facebook, LinkedIn, your kids, right? This is interruption-free time. Now, my watch is what gets me all the time. I forget to turn off my notifications on my watch. And so although they're not going off on my phone, all of a sudden my watch will be pinging me and vibrating on my wrist. So don't forget your watch. And then I want you to communicate with your family and your team members that you will not be available during this time, that you will not actually be able to answer their text messages, their calls, or problem solve for them in any way, shape, or form. That you are actually not available during this time. All right. We have a little bit of homework in order to show up for this date with yourself. We have a few reports that we need to gather. So I want you to grab your monthly snapshot from your bookkeeping team. Now, if you're a Kickstart Accounting Inc. client, you receive a snapshot either on a monthly or quarterly basis. The snapshot is a PDF document that walks you through your financials using our proprietary framework. So pull out your snapshot from your bookkeeping team. If you do not have a snapshot, you will pull the following reports. You will pull your income statement by month for the last 12 months, your balance sheet as of the last month end close, your cash flow statement year to date, and then any written goals you had from the beginning of the year, and then a notebook, right? Some type of blank space. If you prefer a Word document and typing this, that's just fine, but some type of blank space where it is saved in a way that you can go back to that. But I want it to be a blank space without any distractions. All right. So you've done your homework. Now, what do you do when it actually comes time for the CEO day, right? We have this time in our calendar. It is time to actually show up. I want you to arrive on time and treat this meeting with respect. This is an important meeting that you cannot miss, and you really need the full time allotment. So you cannot show up late or leave early. Imagine if you were meeting with the CEO of Target, right? You wouldn't be late for that meeting. You would be on time. This is a meeting with an important CEO, and I want you to show up like it is that important. Now we're going to get ourselves centered. No matter what, the morning happens, right? The day always happens. Every morning, I wake up and I feel over the moon, right? I'm so excited to have the opportunity to do what I do. And I know that so many of entrepreneurs feel that way, that they are so grateful and excited about their craft and their business, but things happen, right? Our kids maybe wake up late. Maybe you woke up late. Maybe you didn't have a chance to get your full workout in, or maybe you had to skip your breakfast in order to be able to get the kids out the door on time. So it's really important that we let it go, right? We get ourselves centered and we let go of anything that's already happened today. I know that by the end of the day, I can just let my day creep into my mind and feel anxious or irritated. And it creates this underlying tension in every conversation that I have or every decision I try to make. And so it's really important during this time that we're letting all of that go and we're really going to focus on nothing but this, right? Nothing but our business. I really like box breathing. I'm going to drop in the show notes a link to a YouTube video on box breathing. It's 5 minutes. You can really do it without anybody noticing that you're doing it. So if you're in a co-working space, you won't look odd doing it. It's really just 5 minutes of taking a deep breath in for 5, hold for 5, breathe out for 5, hold on empty, and then start again. And again, the idea is just to calm your nervous system. Talking about money, thinking about money, and doing these types of exercises are not easy. And so we want to calm our nervous system. We want to show up ready. All right. And then we're going to start taking action one step at a time. All right. We're just going to take one thing at a time. We've arrived. We've cleared the air. Now we need to actually get to work, right? We can't do all the prep work and not actually show up. So we have to actually show up now. So what are we looking at? First, we're going to start with gratitude. In that blank sheet of paper or Word document that you brought with you, I want you to write down 10 things that you are grateful for in your business right now. They should be focused around the business finances, but that includes just about everything in your business, right? Because everything has to do with finances. So this could be a new client that you landed, a contract that you landed, a new employee that you hired, right? We're focusing on what went well over the last 6 months. And this does a few things. This trains our brain to begin to see the good, right? Before we start to look at our numbers and dig in deeper, I want us to train our brain to reframe our story in something that we are grateful for. It could be that you lost a client and now you have more time, energy, and space to regrow your business with clients that you love to work with. Maybe you lost an employee and afterwards you realize it was the best thing that ever happened to you, right? You have the space and energy to bring on a new team member who is going to really serve your organization in the best way. Right. So we are writing down 10 things to train our brain to see the good and reframe the story so that we can start to learn from the changes that are happening in our business. One of the reasons that I want us to start with gratitude is that we don't always need to accomplish more, be more, or do more in order to be happy or satisfied in our businesses. Right. We can be grateful and happy right where we are today, right now. Right? We can be grateful. Maybe we didn't hit all of the goals that we set, but we can be grateful for what we did complete, right? As entrepreneurs, we can be so focused on what we didn't do, what we didn't get accomplished, or gloss right over the things that went well or the things that we accomplished in order to just set on to do more, do more, do more. All right. So I want you to take this serious. Write down at least 10 things that you are grateful for. Next, we're going to review the intention that you set at the beginning of the year. So this is 5-6 months ago. I want you to read this intention out loud to yourself and ask yourself a few questions. Does this still align with where your personal life is at today? A lot can change in 5 to 6 months. Maybe you have a parent who's fallen ill, or a health scare for your children or yourself, right? And we now need to change the priorities of the business so that we can support our personal lives. Maybe there was a challenge in our personal life that we needed to overcome that we've overcame. And now that doesn't need to be the focus or the intention for the back half of the year. So I want you to read this out loud to yourself and ask yourself if this still aligns with where you want to go for the next 6 months. I want you to release any shame around changing this goal. I don't know who created the annual budget or the annual goals, but I really think they were wrong. I think they should be more like 90-day sprints. Every 3 months, we can look at what is the state of our business, what is the state of our personal lives, and where do we want to go over the next 3 months. 3 months is far more controllable than 1 year. Too much changes in 1 year. I think about how our kids change and the seasons change, the school years change, right? There's so much that changes that we cannot be locked in to where we thought we were going to be in January. All right. Take some time to do this, right? This does not have to be a rush. Each of these steps can take anywhere from 30 minutes to 60 minutes. So you are spending a full day here, right? The gratitude journal doesn't take 5 minutes. We might have to really look and think about what we're grateful for. Reviewing our tensions and really reflecting on that takes time. I don't want you to rush through these exercises just to move on to the next one and hurry up and get back out the door, right? Get back onto your life, get back to doing. I'm currently reading Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday, and he talks about how much wisdom can come from the stillness, right? From the time of reflection. So as you're working through this intention, maybe you go back to the box breathing for another 5 minutes and you sit within the stillness of yourself to think, right? Just think. I think this is a lost art today. And I'm guilty. I am so guilty. I have to force myself to take these types of clarity breaks where I am just thinking. Today's show is brought to you by Kickstart Accounting, Inc. Are you ready to take control of your finances and pave the way to sustainable profit? Look no further than Kickstart Accounting, Inc., your trusted bookkeeping service since 2015. They've worked with thousands of other business owners, so they understand your unique needs. What really actually sets them apart, though, is that they're entrepreneurs themselves, dedicated to entrepreneurs like you. Kickstart Accounting Inc.'s strategic framework empowers you every step of the way. They will start with their safe and secure onboarding process, use their magic to set up QuickBooks, and provide you with their easy-to-read financial snapshot. Don't forget, you'll have a dedicated team to ensure that your financials are accurate and on time. Don't let bookkeeping overwhelm you. Trust the Kickstart Accounting Inc. team today. Visit kickstartaccountinginc.com to book your discovery call and get started. Next, we're going to look at the income statement. We're looking at the income statement over the last 12 months. There's a lot to this income statement, right? We've done a lot of episodes on the income statement. So if I went to too much detail right here, we would end up with a several hour episode. I don't think our marketing team would allow me to air that. So I'm going to encourage you to go back to episode 84, the top 3 numbers every business owner needs to know to start to think about digging into your income statement and how to focus your brain on the 3 numbers that you need to know. We need to be looking at our gross profit, our monthly net income or loss, and then our average cash outflow each month. So go get all the detail from episode 84. We actually have a really cool new tool on our website. So if you go to kickstartaccountinginc.com/entrepreneur money stories, there is a new search bar at the top where you can actually search for a topic. And so you can look at how to analyze your spending. There's about 7 episodes to date on how to analyze your spending. If you are thinking about hiring and payroll, right? So you know that as you look at your income statement, you are doing too much of the work on your own and you need support in your business. There's about 9 episodes there on hiring and payroll. If you are currently paying way too much money in taxes and we need to lower our tax liability, there is a whole category on tax strategies. Then maybe as you review the income statement, you realize you are not paying yourself enough, right? You are very profitable, but you actually don't have enough money in your personal life to create the wealth that you and your family are looking for. And so we need to actually get you paid as a business owner. You can search, or to the right-hand side, there's explore our categories where you can dig into each of those categories to learn more about your income statement. Now, again, I told you to block off time in your calendar, and part of blocking off this time is so that you have dedicated time to look at your income statement. Go back and listen to these episodes. You can put me on 2.0. I talk fast, but you can get through these episodes and have the ideas on what to look at in the income statement, how to use the income statement to reflect on what's working and what's not working in your business. Next is the balance sheet. So I want you to take at least an hour on the income statement. If you go back and listen to those episodes, you can have plenty of time to focus on your income statement and really reflect. So next is the balance sheet. The balance sheet is a statement in time where we are looking at what are the assets and the liabilities of your business. The assets are anything that we own, and the liabilities are who we owe money to. We want to make sure that we have a healthy debt to income ratio. So go back to listen to episode 98, Debt Free or Bust episode, where you can learn more about the balance sheet and how to look at your debt and equity in your business. As you reflect on your balance sheet, there's a few things to think about. Do you have enough assets or cash to cover the debt in the business? If there's opportunities that we want to take advantage of in the back half of the year, and you don't have any access to debt, this is the time where we can pause to say, this is the goal, right? This is what I want to achieve in the back half of the year. And so I need to have, $10,000 in order to be able to achieve that goal. If I don't have $10,000 of cash in my business, I can start to reflect on where do I want to access capital for my business in order to achieve those goals. Just because you don't have the capital today does not mean that you cannot go out and get the capital so that you can have the funding to achieve those goals. Again, we went through all of the ways to look for debt, the interest rates, and plenty of ideas in there on how to look at your debt, adjust your money mindset around debt, and then how to actually access that debt. Next, we're going to look at the cash flow statement. This is the number one question that we get from our clients over and over again. I see that I'm making money on the income statement, but I don't have any cash in my bank account. Where the heck did all of my money go? Right? So the cash flow statement helps us understand where your money actually went. This can include things like debt repayments or owner's draws and personal expenses. It's really important that we understand that so that we can understand, yes, we have income coming into the business, but all of the cash payments out of our business isn't always an operating expense. If we have debt or credit cards from last year, those operating expenses are actually going to show up on the income statement from the previous year, but the cash payments to our debt is going to come this year. So we have to be careful on understanding where our money is going today, and that might have an impact on previous financial statements. In the cash flow statement, we are looking specifically at how much of our cash went to paying debt and how much of our cash went to owner's draws and personal expenses. This is going to be a really important number to have available as you talk to your CPA in planning and for your tax strategies. We need to understand if you are an S corp, how much basis you have in your business. I am not going to go into that, but I want you to have these numbers available for you when you talk to your CPA tax team so that they can guide you on, are you paying yourself enough? And are you paying yourself the right way in order to maximize your tax strategies? Again, we talk a little bit more about cash in episode 84, the top 3 numbers every business owner needs to know, because one of the numbers that we want to have available in our business is our average operating cash outflow in our business so that we can start to build up a reserve. So we want to have that number available. So maybe as we look at our cash flow statement and we prepare for the back half of this year, maybe one of your intentions is to start to feel more security in your business and a level of comfort so that as you make business decisions, you know that you have the cash to support those business decisions. And so you can actually save or work towards saving 2 to 6 months worth of operating expenses in your business. And having that number available will help you understand how much money you need to have in that savings account. All right, that's a lot. I know that it can be overwhelming. So go back to the box breathing as much as you need to during this day to calm your nervous system, to get recentered and refocused, right? Because it's really important that you go through every single one of those steps. Now, I don't want you to forget about this when you return back to the office. When you get back, we need to pull in the financial reflections that we made in order to come back to the office empowered. Right? So this renewed intention that we have for the back half of the year can now be used to place a filter on all of your decisions on whether or not you want to say yes or no. We've reset our intention for the back half of the year. So when we are faced with a decision, we can place a filter on it, asking ourselves, do I have to? Right? Do I have to do this? When somebody asks you to do something, do I have to do this? I don't have to if I'm only saying yes because I have FOMO or everybody else in my industry is doing it. Do I have to? And then do I want to? There is a Peloton instructor, Robin Arzon, who I heard this a long time ago. And she said, if it's not a hell yes, then it's a hell no. All right. So if it does not clearly align to your intention, then it's a hell no. And then what is the best way? Is there a system? Is there a process? Is this the best way that I can achieve this goal? Do I have to spend this money? Or is there a better way? Do I have to hire this new person? Or is there a better way? Do I have to sign up for this new system or software? Or is there a better way? All right. So we have 3 questions to keep us aligned to our financial decisions and our intention for the back half of the year. Now, remember, when you are consciously saying no to things, You are giving yourself the ability to say yes or to be wherever you want to be. So I want you to create an environment where there's less for you to say no to, right? Because your intention is clear. Your team knows what your intention is. And so they are putting less in front of you so that there's less for you to say no to. So create that environment of transparency. And don't let FOMO dictate this quarter or this year. Remember that there is a cost of action and inaction. Yes, there's a cost of action. So if you decide to sign up for the conference and travel, you are costing your business money, right? You are traveling, paying for the conference, and you are taking time away from your family, and you are taking away your ability to say yes to other things. Now, I understand that there's also a cost of inaction. If you need to be at that conference in order to achieve your next set of goals and meet your intention for the year, then there's going to be a cost of inaction, of staying home, not spending the money, or prioritizing your family. I want to remind everyone that we don't have to save every single dollar. There is a cost of inaction in your business. If you are not reinvesting, if you are not showing up, there's going to be a cost of inaction. If you are holding on to every dollar in your business, there's going to be a cost of inaction. All right, I want to leave you with some last few tools and systems that are going to keep you aligned in your journey on this back half of the year. Most importantly, I want you to review the monthly reports from your bookkeeping team. If you are not working with Kickstart Accounting and you are working with another bookkeeper, that's perfectly okay. But I want to make sure that you are receiving reports from your bookkeeping team. You should be getting monthly or quarterly reports from them. And then you need to use those reports or the monthly snapshot, if you are a Kickstarter client, to initiate this reflection. If you are doing your own bookkeeping, it's important that you don't just process the transactions or log into QuickBooks, that you're actually pulling the monthly reports and then looking at them in order to initiate this reflection. You don't have to wait for a biannual check-in to go through this reflective exercise. The more often that you do this exercise, the more comfortable it's going to become, and you are going to start to crave it. I crave this internal review with my team. I can't wait for our financial review where I get to dig into these reports and have this reflection time with my management team where we can re-guide and refocus our decisions for the next month. So if you are receiving these reports and the monthly snapshot, don't forget to read it. Just because you have it in your inbox, your job is not done. Your job is to actually open the email and to actually use the reports to reflect. We have some clients who will show up on our calls and say, "Yeah, I didn't look at it." That's fine. We can go through it together. But gosh, could you imagine if we spent the time reviewing that snapshot alone and really reflecting on it, that we can show up to these calls with real questions, real strategy and guidance on what's next in our business. Now, lastly, I want to say, don't forget to ask questions. Your bookkeeping team is there for you. Send an email and ask them the question. If you are not sure about a report or why something's categorized the way it is, or maybe you're very surprised about how much you spent in one category or another, ask the question. Talk to them. They want to hear from you. Well, at least on our team, we want to hear from you. I don't know about other bookkeeping firms. We want to hear from our clients. So send us an email, ask us your questions. Don't forget to review your reports. We are here to be a resource for you. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I know it was a heavy one. I wanted to leave you with a lot of very clear action tools, tips, so that you can go and implement this in your business today. We don't need more theory. We need more action. So make sure you take action from today's episode. If you enjoyed today's episode, I ask you for one thing in return. Please share this episode with one other business owner who you know is struggling with their money mindset. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We have so many amazing guests coming on. I'm really excited about our marketing calendar for the rest of this year. So don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the content. All right, until next time.